Hello everyone, especially the teachers in UAE. If you're English teachers and you are struggling to make your kids work on writing, improving their writing skill, then here is one strategy that I'm going to share with you. Look, first of all, start with descriptive writings and start with the very basic. If you have the kids who have never written even sentences before, start with just sentences. You want them to come at least to the level where they can write sentences. So 1 week, practice a lot. Pick one thing and describe it. Describe it in short sentences. For example, if you're writing about a snail, this is a snail. It has a shell. It moves so slowly. It is green in color. Like short sentences. You're describing. It's descriptive. Do not forget to keep it consistent. If it's not consistent, it's no practice. It's not called a practice, and you're not actually teaching it if you are not being consistent in it. I have understood through my experience that we have to really trick them into thinking that it's easy, and when we are tricking them into thinking, we really have to think of what is the way that I can use to really trick them into liking it, trick them into seeing point in it, trick them into really doing it. So the strategy that I came up with, I thought, okay, why not let's write about something that they love to play with. For example, slime. So I asked all of them to bring a slime. I asked all of them to bring slime. So all of them, they brought slime, and they were excited actually. Like the whole week, they would wait the whole week to bring that thing on Thursday, to bring that thing on Friday, and then, they would ask me, okay teacher, when are we going to write about it? When are we going to write about it? So you are putting your kids in the habit of really looking forward to it. So okay, we will also take our slime to school. We will also open it. We will put it on the table, and then we will see how it is, and then we are going to describe it. So you are already, even before they come into classroom, their mind is already engaged into thinking about it. So this is how you actually engage them. You engage their mind. You don't just engage their body. If this is the problem. When we engage just their body, just by keeping them busy on Kahoot and Nearpod and so many random things, they're just physically busy. Their mind has to be engaged. So here, this is the strategy that I came up with. Okay, we are going to do descriptive writing. Every week we are going to do descriptive writing. Okay, this week you'll bring slime. Okay, so next week we will bring a squishy toy. And the next week we will bring Dubai chocolate. And every kid was bringing something every week. And instead of me asking them to randomly, you go and bring anything you want. No. This is going to be disastrous. They will randomly bring anything. In the beginning, the first time when I asked them to bring something sweet, all of them, they brought different kinds of sweets. So then I noticed that there was a problem. Because this is how you will actually be able to perfect your teaching, if you're really experimenting with them. The very first experiment that I did with them, I saw failure in that. And from that failure, I was then able to improve and perfect that same strategy in a better way. What was my first failure? I asked them to bring something sweet. Someone is bringing cake, someone is bringing chocolate, someone is bringing candy, all different sweets. So we couldn't have one focus, because this is the initial writing where I wanted them to write with me, using the similar vocabulary. So we couldn't really use the similar vocabulary. We couldn't really focus on have really one focus. The only similar thing was sweet. But then everyone is having different vocabulary: cake, cream, spongy, hard candy. So everyone is having different vocabulary. So I couldn't really focus on using the same vocabulary with them. So this was my first failure. But how did I learn it? I learned it because I experimented. I learned what's the problem and how to perfect that same strategy next time. So next time I asked them, okay, everyone is going to bring a lollipop candy. And yeah, I remember I told them it could be any shape, it could be any color, but it needs to be a candy on a stick. It needs to be hard candy. It should not be like the jiggly, squishy kind of candy. It has to be a lollipop, a hard candy. So then everyone brought that, and it was that first writing was a huge success. The writings before these writings were the kind of writings that were like we were only doing sentences. After that, when we moved to paragraphs, every week I asked them to bring something. Every week they had to bring something, and we wrote a lot about these things. We wrote about slime, we wrote about squishy, Dubai chocolate. In term 2, what I did was that I wanted to transition to narrative writing. So I wanted to write with them about a scary dinosaur, okay? But I did not want to switch right away, because these quick switches and these sudden switches don't sit very well with the students. With the students, you have to slowly transition to a different writing. So I had to transition. I had to write about the dinosaur. So first week, I wanted them to write the story about dinosaur and practice with them that story, but I had to actually first still do descriptive writing with them. So the first week in term 2, I did descriptive writing, and all of them, they brought their own dinosaur. So I told them that we have to bring one kind of dinosaur. So everyone was bringing dinosaur, but everyone's dinosaur was different. Again, different. So that's where you still have some difference. You still have some different kind of thinking going about the same theme, but a different dinosaur. Every dinosaur had a different body. Every dinosaur also had different characteristics. And we also read a lot before writing about the dinosaur. We read a lot of different texts. Our understanding was built very well because we read a lot of texts about dinosaurs. We understood what's an herbivore. We understood very well what's a carnivore. We understood very well, the T-Rex has sharp teeth. So we had a lot of really good vocabulary to use. So we did descriptive writing about a dinosaur. Some people wanted to write about Diplodocus. Some wanted to write about a T-Rex. But still, all of us, we were working on the same animal, and we had that similar theme about the animal that's extinct now. Okay, so we did descriptive writing about dinosaur, and then we wrote about the same dinosaur, but then we put ourselves, like it became like a personal narrative. We also put ourselves in the story with that same dinosaur, and then we made a story about it. So every writing lesson has been a huge success, and there was no anxiety. The ones from whom it was my expectation for them to really know that there is an intro, there is a body, there is a conclusion. They all now use these words, like a normal, like teacher, oh, in the intro we have to write this, oh, in the body, oh, this one is the conclusion, okay, in step 1 we will do this, okay, teacher, so this is how we do the planning, okay, so in descriptive writing our planning was different, teacher, okay, so in narrative writing, teacher, we will plan like this, okay, we will write in short. So they see point in whatever I'm doing with them. That is the same thing that I was talking about in the other video, that when they see point in it, they won't experience anxiety, even if they find it a bit hard or a bit difficult, because it will be perfected with practice. Okay, but they should see point in it. The kids who are struggling a lot will still be working on sentences, but some of your students, you have to really see which one of your students you can move towards, building paragraphs. So we moved on, and we made a story about minions. So we brought minions. So every time anything that we wrote about, anything that I practiced with them, because it has been more than 16 to 17 weeks of me practicing writing with them, how consistently I practiced writing with them. So like all of my experience is here in UAE, and this is what I see, that the kids in UAE and the educational systems in UAE, this is like a huge struggle for them to make kids write. They will write if you really come up with the strategies that will trick their brain into really finding it interesting. They wanted to bring a minion to school, their own minion. Yeah, so now they are engaged. Oh, when will be the writing lesson? Oh, when are we going to write about? Teacher, when can we write about Super Mario? Teacher, when can we write about Spider-Man? So they want it because they want to bring their own character, and then they want to think about their own character. Even if writing is going to look like a big lesson, but just because their mind wants to think about it, and it needs the chance and the reason to think about it. And so if it's already thinking about it, then there is no way it's not going to write about it. It already has ideas. It doesn't feel like it's something unfamiliar, it's something it doesn't understand. No, when the mind is understanding it, then the mind wants to do it. Even if the spellings will be wrong, even if the words will be wrong, even if the sentence structure is wrong, but the mind wants to do it because the mind has ideas about it. So when the mind is ready, the mind will do it. So I hope that this strategy is going to help a lot of the teachers, because most of the teachers, this is what I see, like this is a big problem in UAE. And through this video, I am trying to share this strategy that I have used, especially with the learners that I have right now. So I have started using this strategy since the last year. I have been asking them to bring things each week consistently. Kids have been bringing squishy, slime, different kinds of toys, party hats, funny hats, gloves, beanie. Like they have to bring that thing, and all of them, they will bring those things. But of course, all of their, for example, when they had to bring the hats, some of them had party hats, some of them had a witch hat, some of them had a birthday hat, some of them had a summer hat, some of them had a beanie. all of them have similar things, something that's covering the head, but the use of that hat is different for all. From where did they buy it? It's different for all. When do they like to wear it? It's different for all. Like every mind is engaged into thinking about the item that it is bringing to school. Okay, so this is how you can really engage them, and this is personally my own authentic strategy, and this is how I was able to really make grade 4 kids work really well on the right pattern of writing, working really according to my expectations. And also I forced them at the end of the writing, you have to go through the checklist. They have to go through the checklist. And again, here, even in the writing lessons, I have addressed the needs of different levels as well. Whenever I'm doing serious practice writing, each week I do a writing practice with them each week, and I make sure, because in the initial lessons you will really get to understand that how much time you will take to complete one writing with them. You might go on for 3 days, you might go on, sometimes you might go on for a whole week when that pattern is really, really new for them. But when they really get used to seeing that pattern, they will take less and less time with it. Okay, so it's all about how serious you are in practicing that skill with them, and how serious you are in really making them hone that skill, and how creative you are in really coming up with the strategies that their mind is going to really find interesting, and then it starts thinking about it on its own. It's thinking, oh, it's a minion. Oh, what does my minion have? Oh, my minion wears goggles. Oh, my minion's eyes are too small. Oh, my minion has very short legs and short arms. Oh, my minion, and then one more thing that I'm so proud of this thing, that I didn't teach it, but they learned it. This is like the best way to learn, when you are not planning to teach it, but you still are able to make them learn it. We have been using similes. Like on purpose, I use similes a lot with them in just casual talks. Oh, look, your friend is as tall as Burj Khalifa. Oh, simile. Oh, teacher, the look, the curtain is as blue as the sky. Oh, yes, oh, that's a simile. So in a casual talk, things that you talk and that you use with them in casual talks are going to sit in their mind, and their minds are going to make use of it even in writing. So when we were writing about minions, most of the kids, oh, the minion is as yellow as a potato. The minion is as oval as an egg. So they are going to come up with so many similes. Then we also practiced, since term 1 we have been practicing onomatopoeia a lot. So look, this is grade 4. These are grade 4 kids, and even without me having to tell them that I want you to use figurative language, I did not teach them this, but they are using figurative language. They are using onomatopoeia. When I kicked the tummy of the dinosaur, it roared. It made a loud sound like roared and hum. So they used these things when I did not even tell them that I'm expecting this from you. I did not even tell them, but since we are doing it a lot, talking about it a lot, so they want to now use it in writing. Teacher, like, you're opening up their imagination. You're opening up their imagination with everything that you're using with them. Oh, then I was stuck in the tummy of the dinosaur. Then, oh, it was so smelly. Oh, it was so dark. It was as dark as a cave. So when you open up their imagination on daily basis, you are doing things with them that you are expecting on your own. You are expecting them to really use in the long, in the long term, the things that you want them to use in the task or in the writing. You have to start so early by talking about those things very early on. I wanted them to use onomatopoeia in their writing, but I knew I couldn't ask them to use it if I didn't build this understanding with them through consistent talking and using and talking about those things, talking about onomatopoeia a lot. Since we talked about it a lot, we made fun with our jokes about onomatopoeia a lot. So now we are ready to use it on our own without me having to teach them how to use it. They are on their own. Oh yes, teacher, when we will when we are stuck in the tummy then of the dinosaur, then when we will punch it, then it's going to make a loud sound like, and they are going to say roar. So they are seeing the application of it. They are able to apply it on their own because they have very good understanding of it now. So now the mind is ready to apply it. Like, you bring them to the level where there is good understanding of it. Okay, the mind is already thinking about it in many different contexts, and then when it comes to writing, the mind is going to apply it. So these have been my strategies with my kids. The main strategy here that I am actually sharing is that the thing that you pick to write about, ask all of them to bring that thing from their home, and all of them will be bringing that thing. Especially if you're dealing with young kids, all of them will be excited to bring that thing on that day, and they will be looking forward to write about it. And if you make it more consistent, that then there is no week that you would be able to even skip. Like, it will keep you, on your toes, that you will be preparing in advance for the next week. So when I had to prepare for the writing, you know what I would do? I would actually prepare 2 writings at the same time, because I had to be ready for the next week as well. There could be any new task coming up, so I prepared 2 writings in advance, so I would be ready also for the next week. Because every week they would be bringing in the weekly plan, I would mention to bring this thing that day, like bring squishy on Thursday, and I would also send like a picture of that particular thing that I want them to bring in Google Classroom as well. So then they got into habit of bringing something each week, and then we started writing a lot more on the right pattern of writing. We understood how the writing is, and I'm really proud that I was really able to break this norm, or this thing that actually got normalized here in most of the schools here, that kids can't write. So I was able to make my students write in all the schools wherever I was. Since I have used a lot of strategies, with different ages, I had to use different strategies. With the kids with whom I was working in Sharjah, I couldn't use this same strategy with them, because they were not in primary. They were actually in middle school. So they were not at the age level where I could ask them to bring things from their home. They wouldn't, at their age, they wouldn't find it interesting. So I had to use different strategies with them. So at every age level, the interests will be different, inclinations will be different. So you really have to be thinking deeply on what things you can do, or what ideas or what strategies you can come up with to really engage those kids at that level or at that age to really write with you in the writing lesson, and really practice with you consistently each week on the writing lesson, and not find it boring. Like, you also have to think about, how can I make it interesting and not boring, and so they will also see point in it. With the young kids, the strategy that I shared just now, this is the strategy that's going to work with all the young kids at the primary level, with all the young kids, no matter in whatever curriculum they are. And we practiced writing a lot, and we were able to produce good writing through a lot of practice. And even in assessment, the kids were able to perform on the writing pattern. In grade 4, the kids are in grade 4, and they worked on the steps of writing even in their assessment. So I hope that some of you will also find this strategy useful for your kids who are at the primary level. Thank you so much.